All right, everybody. So tonight's call is a little bit different. We've got Sarah on the call tonight. So
Hi.
essentially, say hello to everybody. She
Hi,
still looks
okay.
really, really brown. Your tan actually is a rival for Marcia's tan. I thought Marcia's tan was good, but yours actually might top it. I don't know. Both of you. So tonight we're going to go through with Sarah some questions about her journey. We're going to talk through the whole process. But please also as well, Sarah has said if anyone's got any questions on anything in particular, she's happy to answer any questions that you guys have got. So just pop them in the chat box. Because we're not doing a presentation, I can see them live as you go through. So any questions you've got on anything, please do ask away. Firstly, Sarah, I hear that you've been taking the piss out of my eggs today.
Yeah, because they are really, really bad. Considering you're such a good cook and you do really nice cakes, what the fuck are those omelets?
Honestly, I made some scrambled egg whites with mushrooms, like your favorite thing.
Nice.
And I just thought, like, everyone keeps saying, "Oh, can we see your food from this cut that you're doing?" I'm like, no.
Let's not see your food. It'll put people off doing a cut.
It's just terrible. Do you know what it is? It's like when I'm on a cut, I just end up just not being bothered. I just do whatever I need to get done. Whereas when I'm like in normal life, I do actually really enjoy cooking. But at the minute, I'm just like, oh, whatever.
Well, don't show normal people because it will put people off. They'll think that's what they've got to eat.
This is what you got to eat: egg white and I did put brown sauce on it today.
Oh God.
Oh dear. Okay, so we're going to go through questions from start to finish. We're going to start with like the very beginning of your journey and kind of make our way through it. So my first question I've got to you is, because not everyone knows the backstory, why did you choose to come with GS Coaching above anybody else?
Okay, so last year, 10:45. I've done all the diets, I've done the personal training, I've done the raspberry keto pills that made me feel like my stomach was like, yeah, whatever. So I've done all of that. I've been overweight my whole entire adult life. So I used to play sport as a teenager, high level volleyball. I've always been fit, healthy, but I've always been overweight. So I'm 6 foot, so I can get away with carrying a lot more weight than I suppose most people can. But yeah, come on. But like I say, I've always been overweight, but I've always hidden it. So why did I do it? So I've done the PT and we got down to a great weight. I got down to kind of 13.5 stone, did a gym photo shoot, thought I felt great. I'd broken my neck a year before, so I'd got a lot of issues going on. I damaged my sciatic nerve, so I've got no feeling in my foot, in my heel and my toes, still no feeling now. And we're going back, what would you say, about 6 years, 5, 6 years?
Gotta be, hasn't it? It's gotta be 6 years. It's gotta be.
Maybe 6 years. So I got down to what I thought was really a decent weight. I was still about 13.5 stone, but I felt like I looked better. And I know well, I'll come on to what I wanted to feel like. But like I say, last year I got to a point where I reached my heaviest I'd ever been. I got to 16 stone, and I had some family stuff going on. My kids were coming to like 16 and 18, and I had a real moment where I was stopping going out. I wasn't going out anymore. I was anxious. I was really run down. My health wasn't great. I was getting a lot of migraines. I'm a spin instructor, so 3 times a week I do spin, but it would bring on migraines to the point where I'd then worry about doing spin because I would get a 2-day migraine. I started to get really sad in my own life and start to feel like I'd become kind of a spare part. Like my kids were growing up, they were moving on, they were doing their own thing. And I felt like I was sat from 1 minute to the next in one car park waiting to pick one up, to go to somewhere else, to take one to swimming, to come home, make the dinners. I had no time for myself. I was literally just there for everybody else. I wasn't anything anymore. And I'd also let myself go, and I was 16 stone. My health was bad. And I remember sitting here, and I was on your feed anyway, and obviously I know you, and it kept popping up. And through COVID, I'd picked loads of other inspirational people on my Instagram, so it was always feeding through. I'd got, you know, some bodybuilders. I've got quite a lot of, you know, Glutewear. I've got Carly Thornton, and I've got all of these people, and they were all kind of the same message: just get stuff done, get stuff done. And I sat there and I thought, I've got to do something, else I'm going to be left with nothing. Like, my kids are going to go, and I'm going to have nothing. Like, my relationship will just be like me and like a frumpy 46-year-old. I'm going to be spat out of motherhood, like in a not very great way. And it started to worry me, and it was a real wake-up call for me, I think. And I said to Matt one day, I just said, look, I really hate myself. We had no mirrors. There's no mirrors in the house. You know, underwear was just functional. There's nothing nice about any of my underwear through my whole adult life. And I didn't want another summer where I was going to go on holiday or go on a girls' trip, where I just dreaded it rather than wanting to go on it.
Yeah.
And I go on a lot of trips, and I go, you know, but every time there was this recurring thing where I wouldn't want to pack, or I would look for the loosest, baggiest stuff. On, you know, shopping's never been a nice thing for me. You know, I've never been able to go in a shop and just choose anything because of my height, my weight, you know, the fact that I'd want to cover up. And I got to a point last year and I just thought, do you know what? I can't go on like that, because mentally it was just not great for me. But also, I didn't want that to be me for the rest of my life. I've always been like it, and I don't want to be like that. And obviously, because I knew you and I knew that you can get results, and I like your temperament, you know, bullshit kind of, that's the way I am as well. And I just thought, I've got to do something. And that's when I obviously called you. And we had that chat. You know, I was in tears. I was in a bad way. I was in a bad way, mentally, physically, just everything. And I think I said to you on that call, it's now, and I'm going to be 100% this time, like 100% honest, which is something I've never been before, ever.
Yeah. And I think that's something you said as well, wasn't it? About, I think you replied to one of my stories or something on it about the coaching process, and about that, because that is something that's so important for everybody's journey. Is that crystal clear honesty. If something's not right, or you're not happy with something, or you need more support. And I think that's one of the reasons why you've done so well, is any time where you've needed more support, or any time something's gone wrong, you've communicated that perfectly, and it means it just gets in the bud straight away.
So to put it into context, when I was with you like years and years ago, I was so embarrassed about my weight when I started, and I was nowhere near 16 stone at that point, that I lied by a stone in how much I weighed.
I remember you told me that actually this time around, yeah.
And so when I got through 4, 5, 6 weeks and I'd lost a stone, I couldn't celebrate it, because I was at the point that I'd lied and told you, but I'd gone so far down that route that I then couldn't get out of that lie. And actually it became quite a sad thing rather than a good thing. So although when I obviously joined up with you, I said to you, these pictures that I'm going to send you today, and that's why my face is covered on them, because I was in absolutely floods of tears, but they were never going to see the light of day. They weren't. And I think that's what puts people off maybe joining to start with, is that they look at you or they look at Simon and they see perfect people, if you like. If you've got a lot of weight to lose and you see somebody that looks good, the last thing you want to do is get down to your underwear and send in pictures. You don't do, because you feel like shit at that point. That's probably your lowest. And you don't want people to see you like that.
No, absolutely. And I've had it so many times where people have signed up, and there's people even on this call where they've signed up and they've gone to do the initial questionnaire form, and it's like absolute meltdown. Like, I can't send you these pictures. And it's one of those, like, I'll be completely honest, like, as a coach, we don't even really look that much at the initial picture until it comes to the end result, and then we compare the two together. And people always get so worried about sending us the initial picture, thinking that we're going to be like nitpicking on it, but we don't really. It's just there for the client's kind of, you know, use, rather than for us looking at it. But I completely understand that, because I think as well with progress pictures, you never, no matter how good you actually look, the progress pictures are never ever that flattering anyway. So it's never going to be a nice experience, especially when you feel absolute like rock bottom.
Yeah.
Question I have for you is, when you started, I remember the conversation that we had, and it's something that a lot of people kind of have a barrier against, is you obviously had personal training before,
Yeah.
and you were completely going into the unknown with online coaching. So for people, I guess, that have experienced PT and are
Yeah.
concerned maybe about online coaching, how have you found the online in comparison?
So for me, when I had that conversation with you, I was still in the mindset that actually PT was the way I needed to go, because I needed somebody standing over my shoulder once a week, absolutely battering me. And that's what I'd had before, and I had good results. But I'd bounce back. I'd bounce back to being overweight. I'd bounce back to not being great. Bounce back even further than I was before. So obviously, I hadn't learned anything. Like something hadn't clicked, had it? If I'd gone back to that, so I was willing to give something new a try. Now, I am the biggest skeptic when it comes to anything like this. I'm a bit like, oh yeah, online coaching, blah blah bullshit. Like, take your money and that's it. Like, here's your plan. It's wheeled out to everybody. It's the same thing. Yeah, there'll be core stuff that is the same. But what I found is this is this has shifted something else in me. So although I've said to you now, I do feel like maybe I don't push as hard in the gym as I
Yeah,
maybe could. And we've had that conversation. We've been honest about that. I feel this has helped with the other side of stuff. So this is the bit where you're accountable every day of the week, not just the one day a week where you turn up to see your personal trainer and they batter you and you come away sweating and your legs are shaking. You're accountable every single day. And I think that's where the mind shift happens. That's where the change in your habits and that support when things go shit. So if you see your PT, you can lie to them every week and you can say, yeah, I feel great. I'm this, I'm that. I've done this, I've done that. Have you? Maybe not. Maybe you have. But I think when you're recording it down and when you're doing your steps, yeah, we can lie. We can all put, yeah, I've done 10,000, I've done 12,000. But actually, what are you actually gaining? And if that's the way you are at that time, then the plan, being online, isn't going to be for you, and being with a PT is not going to be for you. But I think what it's helped me to do is understand other things. So if I've gone on holiday and I've come back and I've given you a full month of what I'm doing, so here's all my holidays for my month, and you've worked my plan around that. And then each time I've come back, we've hopped on the scales and you've said, right, okay, we don't go to the gym now for 3 days. You chill out, you do this, you do that, and that weight will now come off. Whereas I would have been like, oh shit, I've put half a stone on, I need to go, I need to batter myself, and I need to do this, that, and the other. And actually, what I'm thinking is not actually it. So
yeah,
I think it's that continuous accountability and the continuous support that I've got that now has shifted my mindset. And if you're going to be 100%, this will work 100%. There is no other way around it. If you're properly honest and you say if you've gone off plan a little bit, or you've not done this or you've not done that, it's all workable and it's worked. And like we said, the more we go through you and the more we are accountable to you and we tell you what's going on, the more actually we get out of it and the more bespoke it actually is.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a
The
lot
more
of the
honest you
time,
are, the better, the more you're getting out of your money.
oh yeah,
It's that
100%.
kind of thing.
100%. What you put in, you get out of it. And I think like a lot of the time people are a little bit nervous maybe to say if they have fucked up a little bit, but it's one of those where we need to know about it. And the response, I mean, you'll know anyway, the response that I give is very dependent on the scenario. If someone's been through a real shit time, there was actually an example, one of the girls on the team, she'd lost someone really close to her. And she sent me a message. She was like, George, I fucked it. I've ate half a jar of Nutella and I feel shit about it. And it's like, listen, you've literally just gone through the worst couple of months of your life. Like, a jar of Nutella, it's the least of your worries. Like, just forget about it. It doesn't matter. And she was like, oh. I thought you were going to give me a bollocking. So that's not going to solve anything. You know,
No.
they're giving you a bollocking for eating Nutella is not going to solve anything. So I think that people often think that, oh my God, I can't say anything because they're just going to give us a bollocking. But we are normal and we do understand, like we all do it.
Yeah.
And as long as people are upfront and honest with us, there's, like you say, there's nothing we can't help navigate around. We can't help support on, but we can't help if we don't know. And that's where you've been absolutely brilliant, because you've literally, any issue that's come up, you've just said, and it means that, and anyone that's successful with us is exactly the same, because it means we can help the issue there and then, rather than, like you say, previously, maybe it's like you go and see your PT and it's like, yeah, this week's been really good, and you're thinking it's fucking not. But it's easier to kind of flag it under that scenario. But would you say you've enjoyed the process so far? Before we start going into comp prep and then you'd hate me.
Yeah, massively. I think I don't think I've really, my weight loss has been pretty linear, which I think you would probably say is quite unusual. Like I really haven't had those like peaks and trough weeks. I've either always come down or plateaued maybe 1 week. I've never really stuck, and I've never really gone up unless it's been like a holiday or something like that. So I found that quite good mentally for me. I mean, it took me a good maybe 6 months to stop weighing nearly every day. And I've been honest with you about that as well, and said I have a problem. Like, when a big weight loss is your goal, you can't see anything else. And no matter how much you say, don't look at the scales, don't look at the scales, that's the only thing, if you've got a lot of weight to lose, that is your real, you know, okay, you can say by the inches, the this, the that, but if people aren't noticing and those scales aren't changing, that's the bit that is difficult. And I think it took me maybe 6 months, if I'm really honest, to stop weighing multiple times a week.
Yeah, I remember you saying about that.
To the point where Matt was like, just take the bloody batteries out of those scales and stop focusing on it, because it takes your day. Like literally, you weigh in the morning, and because it doesn't say what you want it to say, then you're having a shit day. You're having a bad day. And I knew what days I was going to weigh my lightest. So I knew that I would check in with you on a Friday and I'd have my weekend, my off-plan meal, whatever. I knew that Tuesday was the lightest day I would have of my week. And it took me a lot, like I say, to not lie. So sometimes my Tuesday weight would be a lot less, like a pound less than the Friday weight. And I would want to tell you the Tuesday weight, because that was a better. I had lost by the time I got to Friday, but I hadn't got my best weight, which was my Tuesday. Every week was my Tuesday. And that's why I took pictures of my scales for the first so many weeks, months of my program, is because it was the only way I could stop myself from lying and telling you something different. And I, like I say, but it's taken me a lot to get out of the lying habits, you know, to really be true to myself, not just to you, but to myself. And I think that's what's always held me back. I've never been truthful to myself until this program. And I have been, you know, brutally honest, and, you know, sometimes probably overshared a little bit too much, but it is all about that honesty. And if you can be 100% honest with yourself, I think that's where it all shifts. That's where the shift happens.
Massively, because you know as well, like, and it's actually, I can't remember if I did my post on it yesterday or today, but it is that you know deep inside you your truth, and you know when you're putting it out there that, you know, oh, I weigh 15 stone when really I weigh 16 stone or whatever it is. It just creates that massive inner conflict, doesn't it? Because you know that, and you just feel disgusted in yourself almost.
Absolutely.
You know, I've done it. Yeah, I've done it. I remember doing it like with my relationship with food. When my relationship with food was really bad, I would do the same with my coach, where if my weight had gone up that week, I would just put last week's weight in. And I know when clients do it as well, because I know, like, if I look at someone's check-in and like 6 weeks in a row, it says that they weigh 141.1 pounds. It's like, no, you don't. Not consistently for the last 4 weeks, you know. There's always going to be a fluctuation. So I can always tell. But a lot of people do it. And I think, like you say, as soon as you actually own up to it's like a fact of like taking responsibility for yourself, isn't it? And I think once you do
Mm.
that, but did you find that actually with that has completely lifted your mental state as well now?
100%. And I never
Mm.
thought I'd sit here and say that. And then I'd said to you at the time, like, I don't know where we can get to. I showed you a picture and I said, this picture isn't what I want to get to. This weight isn't necessarily what I want to get to. What I want to get to is the way I felt on that day. I
Mhm.
felt like I was acceptable. You know, words like that I hate now, but like the things I wrote down about the way I actually feel, I don't think I felt acceptable when I was out. I'd get anxious, that kind of thing. I wanted to
Mm.
feel like that. I wanted to feel like I didn't have that pressure, that anxiety. And I said to you, if we can get this feeling, I will consider that I have made it and that we've done it, that we've got there. And I
Yeah.
think we got down to that weight pretty quick. And I remember saying to you, what an anticlimax. I thought that was it. I thought that's where we were heading.
Mm.
And I think it's that kind of managing stuff as well, that actually this journey isn't just, it starts out as weight loss. So I started out, yeah, I wanted to lose some stones. I wanted to lose, 3 stones, 4 stone, whatever. Never did I think that I'd get 4 stone, 5 stone. And obviously we're
Mm.
heading towards 6. But I didn't believe we would get there. No, I didn't believe we could get there. No, I didn't believe it. And I didn't believe we could get there so quickly.
Yeah.
With it being so easy and having holidays, brunches. I mean, I've written a list down here of all the things I've actually done. And I'm a bit like, how the hell did we lose weight? Like, after all of that.
Living your best life.
Exactly. And I just found it so maintainable. And yes, I have got a separate fridge to my kids and to my other half, and everything that goes in that fridge is what I eat. I do
I
eat
love
with the family at the same, don't touch the fridge.
that. That's a good idea. I might do that.
So everything in there is prepped and it's ready for me. And I prep the kids and Matt's meals. They're similar to mine, not always the same, but we always eat together because both the meals are ready at the same time. So I've not missed out on eating with them. But I do eat very differently because I've had to take myself away from that because I can't control portions. I can't control what I'm eating. You know, I can now, but I couldn't. And that was my issue. And
Yeah.
taking myself out of that, although it felt a little selfish, when they started to see why that was doing it and why and how that was working, their narrative changed as well. So I've
Mm.
seen a shift not only in me 100%, like mentally, physically, health wise, I've seen a shift in them.
Mm.
They don't now expect me to be sat in that car park waiting for them. They don't expect me to be at a click of a fingers picking them up. So they'll now say, so it used to be, well, I'm going to be done at this time, so I need picking up at this time. It's now, Mum, what time are you going to the gym? And can you get me on the way back? Or can you do this? Will this fit in around you going to the gym or go for a walk? Or can I come to the gym with you? Or can I go on your walk with you? So everybody's benefited from it. Everybody's
Yeah.
changed their mindset.
I love that. That's absolutely amazing. And I think like Zara on the call as well, she says that like her kids are right, mum's time to go to the gym now. And I think that that's absolutely brilliant. And it is, and it's teaching them as well to not just have the expectation on other people to rally around after them all the time. And I think that's absolutely brilliant. I guess like a question for you would be, with you saying about your social life and stuff, how would you say that this has had an impact on your social life, either be it negatively or positively?
So, so in the last year, you know that it's been a quite emotional thing for me to let go of being overweight, to let go
Mhm.
of a lot of things, and I guess we'll
It
go on
took you
to
a lot
that.
to actually get rid of your old clothes, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so as they didn't start, as they weren't fitting me, I had a real struggle. I think it was just before Christmas, really, and probably into this year where I couldn't get rid of any of my clothes. They were my absolute comfort blanket on nights
Mm.
out. They were my go-tos. They were the things that would get me through a night out. So everyone thinks I'm confident, life and soul of the party and everything. And I've really reflected on it. And I realised that I have never been a huggy person. And I realise now I didn't want anyone to hug me because I didn't want them to feel what I felt like. I didn't want people to touch me because I was disgusted in myself. So I was never a huggy person because I didn't want anyone to touch me. Oh my God, I can't stop hugging people now. Like everyone gets a hug now. But like on nights out, I would go into a bar, and the first thing I would do was break out in a sweat, and the anxiety would hit, and I would go and sit in the toilets for the first 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of any night out, because I had to try and calm myself down in that situation until I'd started having a drink, until like I got a bit looser and whatever. I was anxious in a social situation, and I never realised just how bad I had got. And I've spoken to friends about it since, and they're really upset that they didn't understand how I felt, because they always saw me as the confident one.
Yeah.
But I'd always hide in my clothes, so that a lot of my friends have said, you never weighed 16 stone. I'm like, I did weigh 16 stone, like that I did. And they're like, but we never knew you did because you hid it. And I said, but that's what I've done all my life, is hiding clothes, black clothes. So never gone shopping, because I cannot go shopping. I'm 6 foot, 16 stone. In a 16 to 18, I would have a section in a shop, and it'd probably be Primark, and it'd be black stuff in a certain cut, in a certain shape, in a certain size, and that was it. So it was a very small section. And over this last year, God, I can go into any shop now and literally look at things like colours. I've never worn coloured stuff. I've never worn colours. And now, very rarely get me in black. Like,
even like when you was on holiday, I remember you sending me all those pictures in your bikini, like every single different colour you could have.
Every day a different bikini in a different colour. Even my friends got fed up with it. They were like, she's having outfit changes. Who the hell is she? Like, but yeah, like things like that. So my anxiety level going out was really, really, really bad. And coming into this year, and I had some social events coming up and stuff, I was really quite excited as I started to feel different. I was excited to go out. And now, when I've got a social event, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to dress up. I've got, a drawer full of actual underwear, like matching coloured underwear. Like, I think Martha thinks, Jesus Christ, I'm married to a stripper. Like, where's all this stuff from? Like, it's always been functional, and now I feel like I'm all right to wear it. I feel like I can wear it.
Yeah, I love that.
And it feels like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders, like just anxiety wise. Like I said, health-wise, the migraines were, I think, maybe 2 every 4 to 6 weeks, and they would last for 2 or 3 days. I think I've had 3 migraines in 12 months. So again, it's not just aesthetics; it's been everything. I was not prepared for this.
Yeah,
at all. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for the emotion of it all, and losing the weight, and then actually feeling sad that I had to get rid of clothes, and having to come to you and say, but why do I feel sad? Why do I feel really upset about getting rid of everything in my wardrobe? And it's because I've got such an attachment to it. And in the end, no disrespect to you, you've not come from a big weight loss phase, have you? You've not had that. So I remember talking to you about it and saying, look, I just feel sad. I don't feel happy. I feel really, really upset. And I had weeks of crying over these bloody clothes. And I was getting rid of one item every 1 week, 2 weeks. I could not let it go. And you even said to me, look, you need to speak to Simon, like have a word with Simon, because he's better placed to kind of help you understand why you feel sad and why this is not just a happy event, because it should be, shouldn't it? And that's what everyone expects. Everyone expects that happiness of getting rid of all those old, your big clothes. And it wasn't like that at all. In fact, it was the biggest part, the hardest part, I think, not the sticking to plan or going and doing my steps. The biggest thing for me has been like the emotional side of all this. And it's been huge,
Absolutely.
like
And I think like
massive.
you've spoken to Simon quite a lot, and it's something
Yeah.
that I get a lot of the girls to do, and purely like from what you've said,
Yeah.
I'll often speak to Simon on stuff like that as well, because I haven't had a massive weight loss transformation myself. I understand from a relationship with food, but I don't
Mhm.
understand the psychology behind stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas Simon obviously does. And a lot of the times, if the girls are struggling with things like that, I'll say to go and speak to Simon because he just gets it. And I
Yeah.
think he's given you quite a lot of support in regards to with people saying things as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, as everybody gets, when you start to change and you start to look different, and everybody's always known you as something, and then you start to change, your shape starts to change, or your confidence level starts to change, people start to be aware of that. And I think it makes some people feel uneasy, like especially friends. There's friends that I've probably distanced from now because they weren't, not because we've fallen out, because they were a specific kind of friend and they were there in my life for that kind of reason. And I think you kind of drift away from some people that some people can't be happy for you
Yeah.
when you make a change, because it's something that they might want to do, it's something that they might be feeling, or they just think you're boring now. And you know what, that's all right, because I'm not. And if they could really see it for what it was, the health reasons, the mental health reasons, then I think they would be happy for me. But when it's just they're straight down to aesthetics, I think
Yeah.
people can be quite it's uneasy for them to see that change and to see that confidence shift.
Yeah.
People want to stop you, people want to put things in your way, and say you can't have this, can you? And I've been to work and they've put the biscuit tin on my desk, like,
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
just a bit
Just to try
like,
and test you.
really?
Yeah.
And I think for the first few months it kind of hurts, and it kind of, you are probably struggling a bit with your plan, and you're a bit like, come on, I can do this, I can do this. Tell you what, you hit a place where all of a sudden that becomes your motive to do it. When somebody puts
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
biscuit tin on your desk and says, oh, you can't have them, can you? Or, well, don't you want one? No, I've chosen not to. And actually, I'm starting to see the benefits of why I've not done that. And now when I go on holiday or when I go out with the girls and stuff, and I said to you, I really enjoy those events now, and I enjoy it for what it is, and I have whatever I want, and I have that luxury now of having a couple of pounds to play with, or probably obviously not now, but I did for a couple of months,
Yeah.
and I didn't have to worry about what I was drinking. And people would say, "Are you all right to drink that? What's your coach going to say about that?" And she'll say, "Crack on, have a good
Yeah. Have a
time."
good time.
And then you get back onto your routine the next day, and actually my body wants to get back on that routine because my stomach feels better for it, and all of that kind of stuff. And so people really have an issue with it more than I had an issue with it. But yeah, at times them chipping away at you is hard, especially when you're in those first few months of your weight loss phase. Having
Yeah.
people chipping away at you, it's the things that can derail you.
Yeah, massively. And I think like everyone struggles with it. I know I definitely have, with like almost like backhanded compliments where people
Mm.
say things, or "Oh, I feel sorry for you. I wish I could do this. Wish, I wish I could." I remember on comp prep, someone in the CAF at Enderby gym saying to me like, "Oh, I feel really sorry for you. I wish I could just give you a slice of cake." And it's like, it's really hard to actually not be rude back to them
Yeah,
sometimes. You
yeah.
just know, like, it's just not worth it. But
Mm.
yeah, it's something that everyone kind of goes through, I guess. Here's one for you.
Yeah.
How how did you find doing the first the photo shoot that we did in March? How did you find that?
Right. So I signed up to that when I was about 6 months in. So I'd done quite a lot of the weight loss already. I chose not to do the one before, which I'm glad I didn't, because I think it was underwear. And I think I'd
Yeah,
said
so
to
the one
myself,
before, yes, it was, yeah.
well, yeah. And I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. And I said to you, that's not my thing. I've got 2 kids. I've got to be a little bit mindful. I wasn't ready. I wasn't I wasn't at a point where I felt like I was okay to wear that kind of stuff. So that wasn't for me. When you said about the next one, which was in Ghetto Golf in Birmingham, and I looked at the rooms and it was all neon and it was a bit more funky and a bit more, I don't know, a bit more urban, I guess, than underwear, although we didn't wear a lot. But I just felt like it was more me. It was more what I would wear, and I could wear something that I felt comfortable in. And so you set me that, I think we started at about 10 weeks out, 10 weeks out.
Yeah.
And again, I felt like I was ready at that point to really go for it and go for a kind of photo, a prep, like a big push rather than just the weight loss. I felt like I'd come out of the weight loss and I was going now for a prep. And I found that really useful. I like to have a goal. I like to have something that I'm aiming for. So we went with that. I had a bit of a curveball, as you know. The week before the photo shoot, my brother was in a really bad accident, was in QMC with a broken neck, shoulder, everything. And I thought that was going to be it. I thought I wasn't going to make it to the photo shoot. I don't know whether you know, but I missed my hair appointment because I was at the hospital with him. So I wasn't at, you know, when you go to a photo shoot, you want your hair to be 100%, your nails, your tan, your this, your that, your that. And I was in the hospital from morning until evening. My mum and dad were on holiday, so it came down to me to help with my brother and his kids and everything. So I was pretty much over in Nottingham every single day. And, you know, luckily he was okay. And he said to me, "You've done this now for 6, 7, 8 months. Don't miss it. You've worked so hard, don't miss it." And I think him being in there put a different spin on it for me. I suddenly didn't feel so nervous about it. And like I say, missed my hair appointment, ended up just scraping my hair back and putting like a couple of extensions in it in a plait. Not how I wanted it, not what I thought it was going to be. Managed to get my tan, managed to get my nails done. So yeah, skidding in sideways, but that whole last week, I did not miss a beat. I didn't miss a step. I didn't miss a meal plan. I didn't miss anything. And I continued all the way up. And I just thought, I've promised myself this. And I don't want to stand there on photo shoot day and think, yeah, but you had a few days where you could have done more. You could have done this. You could have done that. And you know, you pushed me quite hard, I think, for a photo shoot. You know, we did kind of try and get rid of some water, and we tried to do a lot of different things. You tried to do it, you know, a little differently. And, you know, you know how to push each person, but I'd already said to you, come on, I want to go for this. I want to be as lean as I can possibly be. And we got there. But it wasn't plain sailing. The day was amazing. AK was just... she was just ace. Like, I don't think I felt nervous when I first got there and I was walking around Ghetto Golf with my arse hanging out. I'd even got a dressing gown with me, but I never wore it.
No.
And the rest of the girls were fab. And obviously we'd spent the night over in Birmingham and I got to know a few of them, like shared a room with Lauren and got to know Kaylee and Jade. And yeah, and they were just really nice, and they'd done a couple of photo shoots as well, and they put me at ease because I've got obviously a little bit of loose skin. Everyone keeps saying it's not as bad as I think, and I have been lucky that it's not as bad as it could have been. But I was really worried about that, and like everyone said, like she will angle you, she will pose you, she will do different angles on you, she will take photographs from different places, the lighting, everything, and I was a bit like, yeah, but I still look like shit, kind of thing. And actually, I got there and I didn't really care. I think the only thing that bothered me at the time, which I think I said to you, was you were doing videos. Now, on the photographs, obviously we can choose the ones that look great, but you were taking a video to do like your videos. And that really worried me. And I think on the day I said to you, can I have a look at one of those? And I know you wouldn't post it without checking first. And so that, I know that you would never do that. And you showed me it on your phone. Can you remember what I said?
Yeah, you were like, is that actually me, weren't you?
I said, have you got a filter on it that makes you look longer? And you said, no, you are long. That's what you actually said.
You just
And
happen to be
actually,
6 foot.
yeah, but I actually genuinely saw myself on your phone and thought that you got a filter on it and that I didn't actually look like that. So my perception of me still wasn't right,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
at that point. But yeah, I was hoping to get that one image that made me look strong, that made me look like I'd made a difference, and that made me feel like that first picture that I'd shown you 10 months ago. And I didn't just get one picture like that. I got 430 pictures like that, because there wasn't one that I did not like.
See, that's just amazing, isn't it? Even the ones where you get them back and you're like
Absolutely. But I liked everyone because I was looking at them from a different way. Like, photos for me have never been positive. There's not full length photos of me. There's not, unless I've taken it like a selfie or anything like that, there's just not a lot of me over the last 20 years. And to get 430 and actually be able to look at them, not cringe or cry, I was shocked. I wasn't ready for that either. And there was tears because I liked them all. And there was tears because I looked at them and I didn't automatically see the shit bits. I saw nice bits. I saw good muscles. I saw bits that I was happy with rather than just the bad bits.
Which is absolutely amazing. And I think in regards to people that potentially were maybe thinking about wanting to work towards a photo shoot, what would your advice be to those people?
I've spoken to a couple of people on the plan now, about this kind of thing, because they've asked me about it as well. And I've said to them, pick outfits that you feel comfortable in. Don't kind of it's quite easy to see what everyone else is picking and think, oh, I need to get that. I got a two-piece set that had like the leg cages, like a bit suspender-ish.
Yeah.
And I tried it on and at home, and I've still got it now. And I thought, right, I'm going to take that. And I put it on and I just thought, what the fuck do you look like? It's not me.
Yeah.
It isn't me. Like, okay, I looked all right in it, but it weren't me. And I had it and I took it on the day, and I went back to the pink option of the leotard one, the bodysuit. And I got 2 of my best pictures in that because I felt happy in that. And I wore that first because it covered my stomach. And then I took a braver option, which I ended up wearing the 2-piece black. And it was black. And I didn't want to wear black, but I wanted it to be like urban, a bit urban-y. And also I felt confident in it.
Yeah.
And so for me, and then I took like an underweary one, which I got some really nice photos on that as well. But I would say, know what you like, put some things on. And if you feel like an absolute boss in it, take it. Take that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's, I don't know, like jeans and whatever. Take it, because you're going to get a much more confident picture if you feel like you're okay. And then I'd say, take some riskier ones. Take some that actually, because on the day, when you see a couple of those photos back, I tell you what, you're going to start then to think, I can get a little bit more flesh out, or now I know how they're going to angle me, or what that lighting's going to look like. Oh, I might go for that. I might get my stomach out. And what I'd say is, just go for it. No one has to see these pictures.
Yeah, 100%. That's
They
it.
can be buried. They can go. You don't have to choose them. But just what if you did wear it and you had some of the most phenomenal pictures of yourself that you actually thought, oh my God, that is actually me.
It is. And I think like a lot of the time when like she shows you back the camera roll, because they're so good even before they're edited.
Yes.
So it's like you look at them and you're like, oh my God, like that's actually me. Like I look amazing. And once you've seen the first camera roll, it then makes you feel much more confident for the rest of it anyway, doesn't it?
You'll ache like a bastard after it, because I didn't realise how hard it was to be posing and scrunching and sticking out and squeezing
Yes.
in. And
Stick your bum out. You're like, I can't stick my bum out anymore.
Yeah, don't bend that way.
And I always get cramp in my feet because she always tells me off about my toes not being pointed. I'm like, I can't feel my toes anymore. I've got cramp in my bloody feet.
But it was nice just to be with everybody, and everybody has those same fears, and everyone's got that same something. Everyone's got something that they're not happy with or they don't like. And I tell you what, we've all got normal bodies, and I think I've seen that more now. I think because I hide away and whatever over the years, and I like on the photo shoot, I just felt like everybody just had normal bodies and everyone looked fucking amazing. Like everyone looked unreal. Like they just looked amazing. Like we'd all got the tans and whatever, the hair and makeup. But everybody just, I think it's the confidence, you know, that the way people were walking, the way people just felt. And I just thought that's, you can't tell people what that feels like. You can't, if you could bottle that and sell that or get to that point, that's the bit when you start to realize actually this is working. This is a mind shift and not just an aesthetics thing. You know, photo shoots, is aesthetic, but it's about that feeling of it as well. So yeah, I would say take outfits that you feel comfortable in, but then take a couple of, you know, that you feel good in, you like the colour of, that are probably not you, that you know you wouldn't normally wear, because I tell you what you get out of that is just the feeling of that is quite liberating.
Oh, absolutely. The days are absolutely amazing. A quick little cover on your goals moving forward. So what are we working towards now?
So after the photo shoot, I had a bit of a wobble, and yeah, I kind of lost my way a little bit. I felt like I had no purpose again, and I felt like I wasn't working towards anything, and clearly I need a goal. So something that had always been on my mind, I've always looked at bodybuilders and always looked at shows and always looked at that kind of thing and thought, oh my God, how amazing are they? What would it be like to be like them? It would be, I'd love to be like them. And then obviously we got chatting, and then Kaylee got chatting, and you know, she was then going for a show, and I felt a little bit jealous that she'd got something to aim for. And then I didn't want another photo shoot at that point, but I liked how lean I'd got, and I didn't really like not being lean anymore. And I know that's not sustainable, and I'm okay with that. And we've worked through that. Again, another psychological part of this. And so, yeah, we have signed up to a bikini comp at the age of 46. So actually, it'll be 16 stone to stage in 16 months exactly. And obviously, we've only got till September to do it. So, yeah.
How exciting. So this is what happens. This is what happens with me, is like you put an idea in my head and I'm like, we're doing it.
Yeah, so it's going to be a long summer of posing practice and stuff. But I feel like I officially ended my weight loss. So I feel like that's done. I feel like we got out of that what we were planning on, you know, the confidence level, the look, the everything, you know. We reached it, we got there, and now I've got a whole different attitude towards going out, clothing, underwear. That's shifted, I think, and that's a long-term shift. That's not just a bounce back now like the raspberry ketos and the other bullshit. But now I feel like I've ended that chapter. I feel like weight loss is, I've done it, mate. And yeah, now we move on to something else, which is way out of my comfort zone. I can't walk in heels. I look like I shouldn't be wearing heels. I shouldn't be wearing pants and a vest outside, having my pictures taken. And you know what? I actually don't care. There's no pressure on me to make it to stage in September, because I'm doing it for me, nobody else. I'm not going to win, although it would be nice to win. Obviously, I am competitive, but I'm going with the attitude of, we don't know what my body looks like under this, because I've never been there. I don't know what it looks like. It could look not great. It could look amazing. but I want to try. I've got one shot at it, I think, you know, and this is it. This summer is now or never, and there's no pressure, you know. If we get to the near the date and something isn't right, but it won't be because I've not put 100 or we've not put 100% into it. And that's, I think that's a nice place for me to be in, because I'm not doing this for a career. I'm not doing it for any other reason. Doing it as a personal challenge, and that's all it is. That's all it is. And I will give it my 100%. And if we get there, we get there. We'll see.
And I think, like I said to you, didn't I? Because when you were feeling a little bit lost, and it actually came from a conversation that I had with my business coach, similar kind of thing, where I'd had a goal to hit and I hit it, and it was kind of like, that wasn't as exciting as I expected it to be. And I remember like saying to you what he'd said to me, and he was like, the reason you feel like that, Georgia, is because you've completed level 1, and you've completed level 1 again and again and again and again. Now it's boring, so now we need to go to level 2. You need another challenge. And I think that's like what I said to you, was you've done the weight loss, you've done the photo shoot, and now you were just kind of feeling a bit meh about the whole thing. And then as soon as you like think, right, okay, let's step it up a notch and let's work towards something, it then just kind of relights the flame and gives you something to be excited.
We've definitely got some work to do now, but it's kind of exciting. And like I say, I don't feel the pressure. Maybe I will in a few weeks' time. Maybe I will when we're really like grinding away at some of the last bit of weight, or the, you know, some of the fat that we're trying to shift. Maybe then I'll feel it. But I'm going into this with the view that it is going to be tough at times, but it's something I've chosen to do. It's something I've chosen to put myself into. And I am excited to see what we can do to my body. I'm excited to see after the photo shoot, like how we changed my body in like the last few weeks was quite unbelievable. And yeah, I look at my picture now and I think, how the hell am I going to get to what it looks like to be on stage? But you said we can get there. So
trust the process. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So my last question to you would be, actually, no, 2 questions. First question would be, a big barrier for people sometimes starting, which understandably is from a financial aspect. So my question to you would be, if you obviously know how it feels now at this point, if Sarah now knew how you would feel before you started, would the price tag have been an issue at that point, if you knew how you would feel now, knowing what you know now?
So this is a conversation me and Matt had at the time I rang you the first time round, and obviously we talked about it, and then you said like what the cost was and everything, and he said to me, and we had that conversation then after, he said, if somebody said they could take all your weight away from you by tomorrow morning, so you go to bed and you woke up the next morning and you didn't have to do a thing, but you could just pay for it to all go away, you'd pay thousands. You would, because you don't want to feel like that anymore. So doing it over a set amount of time, whether that be a 3-month, you know, if somebody joins up for 3 months because that's what they can afford and that's their plan and whatever, you can make such a big difference in 3 months. 3 months, I was in a great headspace, you know, I wasn't done, and I don't like to say it, but like mentally it hadn't clicked at 3 months. But, you know, not everybody's got X amount of stones to lose. So it's very different for people. If the people are just toning up and just, you know, shedding a bit of extra weight that they've put on, or just getting back into the gym or recovering from an injury, a 3-month block might be what they need. I knew that I needed to carry on. I wasn't done at 3 months. And then when it got to 6 months, I was not done. And by that point, I was so focused on where we were going and what we were trying to achieve and how far in I got, that I knew that that still needed to be the case, and I still needed to go down that route. So for me, you know, this might not, people aren't going to be on it for 2, 3, 4, 5 years unless they choose to be. You know, you've got a short amount of time to do a great amount of work. So can you put a price tag on it? I don't know. Like if it stopped me having migraines, and it stopped me being anxious, and it stopped me from going to the doctors and potentially be put on God knows what medication, is there a value in that? Do you know, that's my mindset on it, that actually, God, is it priceless to then all of a sudden be happy in your own body and happy in your own skin. So yes, there is a financial aspect. How people pay for that is obviously a very personal thing, and everything like that. But for me, it's changed a lot for me, and it's changed a lot mentally as well as aesthetically. So for me, it has been money well spent. And I don't need to go through this show prep. I don't need to be with you to maintain my weight now. You know, we've done the work, we understand holidays, and we understand this. And I could plateau and I could maintain, and I've maintained since kind of photo shoot. But now I want to push, and I can't do that push on my own. And coming out of the photo shoot was a bit of a, like you said, a bit of a meh moment. And I needed managing out of that. And again, with the show, I will need money. I know I will need managing out of that, because I know I will like the look that I get on show day.
Yeah,
I know that I will find that difficult to put weight on. And I think maybe that's the last key part to this whole picture, is actually
getting you back healthy again.
Yes, putting that weight back on, and not seeing it as putting weight back on and being overweight, but actually coming back to a nice, healthy look and weight. So yeah, I think depending on where you start and what you are looking for, these blocks are great. You can get everything out of 3 months if that's what you want. You can get everything out of 6 months. But you've got to see where your journey goes, because I think it changes as you go along. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And then final question for you is, which is quite a big question, I guess, but what advice would you give to someone in your position 12 months ago?
Don't be so hard on yourself. Be honest with yourself. If you're feeling a certain kind of way and you think that somebody can help you, pick the right people. You pick a PT because you liked them and you get on with them. And it's the same with you and Simon, like not everybody's going to like your temperament. They might like Simon's temperament. They might like Emily's temperament. So it's about finding somebody that you can relate to and that can kind of relate to you. I think that's the first thing. As soon as you can get that, it becomes easier to open up to somebody and to be honest to them. If you don't either rate them or you don't like how they are, you're not going to relate to them. You're not going to be honest. But I would say, you've got to be 100% honest with yourself and with you, whoever you get coached by. That without that, it doesn't work. It won't work.
Yeah, 100%.
It can't work. It doesn't work to its foot. Well, it can work, but it will take longer, or it might not work the way it's supposed to work. But I just think that 100%, just do it to its fullest. To get the most out of it, just do it. If you're going to pay that money, do it to its fullest. And be honest. Be honest. Just be accountable. If you don't get your 12,000 steps in a day, or whatever steps you've got, because everyone else has probably got a lot lower than me, Georgia. Thank you. Mine went up in August last year and never went back down. But I owe them back to myself. So I don't beat myself up about not doing them that day, because some things do crop up. The kids need this. I physically can't get out. I've been out since 4 o'clock in the morning, so God knows what time, and I still haven't done an extra 2,000 steps. I just owe it back to myself, so that by the end of that week, I've done the step count, but I just probably didn't do it on the day. And that's not because I've sat on my arse and watched the telly. It's because I just physically wasn't able to go out and do it. But again, because I've always been honest with you, I know that you're not there going, oh, she's making excuses again. She's made an excuse because she didn't do 2,000 on that day, or she didn't get this done or that done. I know, because I've been honest, you will then appreciate that I've actually been honest, and that I'm not kind of trying to lie and trying to make it, whatever else it was. So, if we don't drop weight that week, I know that I'm honest. That
100%. And I'll always say that to everyone. If someone checks in and the scale weight's not dropped, or the scale weight's even gone up, but on the check-in says, I've done this week, I've had a little bit extra here, I've not got my steps, I've not got my sessions in. It's cool because we know why. And I'd rather that than someone go, oh, my weight's gone up, but I don't understand why, when really they do. And then it leaves me questioning things as to like, well, what the hell's going on then? But as long as someone's honest, then it makes everything, from my point, crystal clear. I know exactly what to do, what to manipulate with people. As long as I've got all of the information, then we're on to a winner with it. Wow. Thank you so much for everything. Has anyone got any individual questions before we finish? No, everyone's just saying you look amazing. Brilliant. No, honestly, really, really, really appreciate that. And I think everyone else in the call will do as well. Are you happy for me to post this in the group tomorrow as well?
Yeah, you can go for it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for everything. And thank you to everyone that's come on the call tonight. It's been absolutely brilliant. And we'll see you guys all next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Amazing. Bye-bye.